Hello everyone, welcome to week 5. This week we are starting Excel and we will be doing Grader 1E homework. Go ahead and click on your to-do and bring up your downloading starting materials. Let's download those. Your instructions are first. Let's take a look at those. So this one is 2 pages, but it goes relatively quickly. And so I've got 2 screens. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this over. And before I do that, one thing that it does say is to download this file. So and that's the Go 16 XL. And by the way, XL stands for Excel. So we'll go ahead and download that. And then the other file here is the WISP theme, and I didn't use this at all, so I don't think you probably will need that. I didn't need it. So here we have a spreadsheet, and I'm not for sure who's familiar with spreadsheets or not, but just really quick, let me give you a quick down and dirty review. Columns are lettered and rows are numbered, and where you find a cell, this is the intersection of that column and that row. So this cell would be referenced as F6. So if you can remember that columns hold up buildings like in Greece, Colosseums, so they're columns, they hold things up, they go up and down, it's a column. Rows basically go across, and think about rowing across in a lake to go from one side to the other. And then that way it'll help you. And again, all cells have a letter and a number that they're referenced to. Let's go ahead and change this worksheet theme to WISP. So when you're thinking about this, you're thinking about the look of this, the layout. So we're going to go to page layout, and in the far left hand corner we have themes, and these all have names, and WISP just happens to be here. You can also hover over these. Before I forget, Bill Gates is wonderful. I always say that to students because and all of the Microsoft Office programs, when you open them, they all look the same. Now, granted, we're in Excel, so these will be slightly different, but you'll notice we just finished up Word and we're getting ready to do PowerPoint and Access after this. Everything looks the same, including in Outlook, Publisher, all of the Microsoft Office programs. So that's a nice feature because now you're kind of semi-familiar with these and getting comfortable with these tabs in your ribbon. So just be mindful though, Excel, it's a little bit different because we will be using formulas. All right, so now we've changed the theme to WISP. Number 3 says use the fill handle to enter the months May and June in the range C3 to D3. A range is denoted by a colon. So this is the name of the cell, but when we have multiple cells, or in this case it's just 2, you will see a colon in between. So C3 is here, and this is D3. Well, this little green square is the fill handle, and so we are actually going to be on B3 to drag it through to D3 to fill in May and June. That's a left click just to hold it down. Now we're going to merge and center the title across A1 to F1. Up at the top in your ribbon in the Home tab, you will see Merge and Center. I'll just click mine open so you can see what's in there. It's definitely not necessary to do this to open it. I just wanted to give you a visual on that. And if you just click merge and center, it does it automatically for you. After you've done that, then you will apply the title cell style. So in the styles area, you will use your more button, and we want title. Then you're going to merge and center the subtitle from A2 to F2 and apply heading style 1. And if you hover, they do light up. I love that feature, by the way. And then center the column titles in range B3 to F3. And so be careful. This is the middle align. Here is your center button. Item number 5, or excuse me, question number 5 says widen column A to 180 pixels. When you move your pointer over and you hover over the letters, it changes its shape. So if I have that down arrow and I left click, it accepts that and all of it, all the way through infinity, by the way. I want to show you a couple of quick tricks of this. The instructions call for pixels, so you're not actually going to be able to use this feature. But when you right click and you go down to column width, if you actually had the column width number, you could actually put that in there. The other way to do that is format and then column width. But here it's actually calling for pixels, and to do pixels, we will be left clicking in between the columns, and you can see that my pointer changes its shape. And once you left click and hold it, you will see the width and then in parentheses the pixels, and we want to take that to 180. And it may take you once or twice to get right at 180. Just be patient. Next, we are actually going to widen B through F. That's a range. All of the columns here. So gather them all. So you're going to left click once you get that drop down arrow, hold it and go all the way across to the right to F, release it, and then just grab between F and G. You see my cursor, my pointer changing. Go ahead and left click, hold that, and it looks like we want to go up to 115. And again, this may take you one or two tries to get right at that pixel number. So 115, then release, and then they all change shape. Now go into cell, or the range, B7 to D7, and we are going to enter the following information. So you're going to start just with B7, and it's 1372785. Make sure that you double check your values, your figures here. Then tab across. No need to do enter. If you do enter, enter actually takes you down. Tabbing takes you across. So we will enter the next data. So it's 121,691.64. Again, tab across. 128,964.64. Now you can actually enter, and the reason why is because it's going to take you to C or B8, which is our next question. And it says in cell B8, use the Autosum button to sum the April cells. To do that, over in the Home tab, in the editing group, we have the Autosum button. Let me open mine for a second. Sum is here. So we also have average, count, max, min, and then more functions. For purposes for here, you could actually just click Autosum, and you can see that the formula that's going to take place is going to add all of April's information here. So we've got basic home gym, amount, deluxe home gym, multifunction trainer, and the elite home gym, which is cells B4 to B7. That is a range. You see that colon in between. To accept this, I am actually going to hit Tab just to go across, and then I'm going to go back to B8. Now you're going to use the fill handle, which is this dark green spot here. So you're going to watch your pointer change shapes when you're on top of that. You're going to left click, hold it, and drag it across to D8 and then release. In cell E4, you will use the Autosum button again to sum the basic home gem cells. So now we're going across in a row before we're using that column and going down. Let's make sure that we've got it correctly. It is B4 now to D4. So we have this entire second quarter highlighted. The other thing that I would like to show you is this is referred to as your formula bar. And you'll see that this is the formula here. We always have to start a formula with equals, then sum, and in parentheses we have B4 to D4. To accept this, you can either tab or hit your enter key. Really quick, this is also your enter. So I'm just going to click that. I love Bill Gates. He's the billionaire and we're not, because he gives us 3 or 4 different ways to really skin a cat, or to make that move, if you will, in Microsoft Office programs. So that's a nice feature to use. After you've done that, go ahead and use the fill formula and go down to E8 with that. Next, we're going to apply the heading for cell style to the row titles and column titles. So we have row titles, and use your shift key, and now we've got column, whoops, not shift, control, excuse me. So it's just like when we were in Word. This feature works in all the Microsoft Office programs. You will left click in A, go all the way down to 8, so A4 down to 8A, control, and then grab B3 to F3. And so it says apply the heading for style to the row titles and column titles, and we're going to go back into our cell styles, and we want heading 4, and then apply the total cell style to the totals in range B8 to E8, and that is found back in the styles group, and we have total. So let me click off of there and we can take a look. So we have centered our title, our subtitle. We've given this a total style. We've changed our headings for our rows and our columns. Number 8, apply the accounting number format to the rows, to the first row of the cell's figures and to the total row. So again, you're going to left click, hold it down, and go straight across. So you're in row 4, column B, C, D, E, control, and then grab the total row now. And again, that is using your control key. And it says to apply the accounting number format. A couple of things that you can do is you can click here. You can open this up and apply accounting. Either way gets you there. You can also launch, and you can see that I've already done it when I clicked up here. So this is another feature. And after you've done that, then you're going to apply the comma style to the remaining cells figures. So that would be B5 down to E7. And a couple of ways to do it would be here, here, or the launcher. And I'm just going to go ahead and click column or the comma style here. Number 9 says to select the range that represents the cell's figures. And that's going to be for the 3 months. So for a quarter, there's 3 months. So we have sales figures for April, May, and June. These are the sales figures. Um, and by the way, they also want to have us include the name of the month, and it says to include the product names, but do not include any totals in the range. So let me go ahead and grab those. Sorry about that. So no totals in the range, so none of this. So we've got all of these. And with this data selected, now we're going to go and use the recommended charts command. So we're inserting a chart. So you're going to go insert and then recommend. And then we have this nice dialog box that pops up. The first one is a clustered bar, and I kind of want to explain this to you, that bars go across, kind of like the row. Anything that's going to be a column will be up and down. So think about columns as before, as I said, columns are up and down, they hold things up. So we have here the clustered column chart with the month names displayed on the category axis, and then the product names you'll see down here for the legend. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Next, move the chart so that its upper left corner is positioned in the center of cell A10. And let me just move that over. Position in the cell of A10, and then drag the center right sizing handle to the right until the right edge of the chart aligns with the right edge of column E. So these are your selection handles, and touching those, we can use them to resize our chart. Once you've done that, we are now going to apply chart style 6. And by the way, once you have this selected, you will get a chart tools, and underneath of chart tools you have two new tabs that appear: design and format. We're actually going to be doing some designing. We want to change how this appears and looks. So here is the chart styles. These are numbered in order. So here is 4 and then 5 and then 6, and if you hover, it does light up to tell you. So we want chart style 6. To the left of that, we're going to change color. So this is your chart quick colors. Open that up, and it says that we want to pick colorful 2 under the colorful category. And so that will be colorful 2, and it does tell you that that is the second, I'm sorry, that it's colorful 2 under colorful. And it says to change the chart title next to second quarter, and you can just click that or double click that to get in there. And so we're going to type second quarter home gym and then cells, and double check that you don't have any typos, because my IT lab will count you off, and just click anywhere in a different cell to get off of that. So changing the chart style really made it pop a little bit more, and now we've got a title and we've got some great information in here. Next, we are going in the range of F4 and F7, and we are going to insert line spark lines. To do that, we're going to go to insert, and we're going to choose line, and our data range will be April, May, and June. We do not want to include the total. So this is just going to track our trending. How did I do in my business? What was my profit? How much was I making? And it's going to give us a line to kind of show the ups and downs. So May I didn't do so good. April I did a great job. So here we've got the data range, and then we're going to choose a location where we want to put this. You will notice that we have the dollar signs around those letters. That is called an absolute value for F4, meaning that if I use my fill handle to go down, which we will in just a second for the other lines, spark lines, that this cell range doesn't change. It's absolutely going to stay the same. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And I am going to go ahead and then fill those in so you can see that now we've got those lines in there. It says now to show the Sparkline markers. So Sparkline Tools is now in the ribbon with a new design tab created, and in the show group we have markers. So now you can see that we've got little red dots going on. Still kind of hard to see, so let's give this a little bit of pop. Let's apply the Sparkline Style, Accent 2, Darker 50%. And so you're going to open this up. Oh, excuse me, the style. You're going to open this up and you're going to hover to take a look. And in your homework, it does tell you that it's in the first row. It's the second style. So I do love that feature that you can see what you're doing. So it's a little bit better. And now we're going to center the worksheet horizontally on the page. You may remember how to do that somewhat. Remember going to page layout and going in and kind of taking a look at page setup. And now we're going to go down to center on page. And so we did the same thing, move, if you will, while we were in Word. Same concept. So we're horizontally aligning this, centering this to the page. And let's say OK. And I should have stayed in there because we've got a couple more moves to make. You can see that this is the end of our page. So with that said, let's first add a footer. So we're going to customize a footer, and we are going to insert a file name on the left section. And if you hover on these, it will tell you what these are. So we want to insert a file name and go ahead and click OK. And then it's telling us to change the orientation in question 4 or instruction item number 4 to landscape. You don't have to get out of this and go back to the home tab. You could actually do it right here. We're going to choose landscape and then OK. And that's it. So you'll want to save this, and once you have that done, we can get this submitted. And I've already done this before, so let's see. Go ahead and choose our file. As always, if you have questions, please shoot me a question in the discussion tab and ask the instructor a question. Alrighty, good luck everyone, and good luck on completing your other assignments this week.